Okay, hello and welcome back to episode 3 of Chat Bandicoot. Today we're going to be talking about fitness. I want to give a quick thanks to Not Ripto's father. I texted her and I'm like, I can't think of I have a couple of ideas of what I want to do for chat, but I can't decide between these small ideas. Do you think you could pick one? And she chose today's topic. Oh, there he goes. She chose today's topic, which is going to be about fitness. So, that one was on me, as if the first one wasn't. So basically, for people who don't know, the last couple months I have been going through kind of like a fitness era. I've been going back to the gym, I've been dieting, I've been changing up my eating habits. It's been a huge transformation for me. It's been something that I'm very proud of, something that I'm very dedicated and committed to. And Noelle over on the Naruto's Father channel thought it would be interesting to know a little bit about what that would look like, maybe any advice that I can give to other people who are aspiring to better themselves in that specific way, something along those lines, and I am more than happy to do that. But in order to kind of understand where I am now, I think it's kind of important to go over how we got to this point. So, when I was growing up, I consistently had very unhealthy eating habits. I ate a lot of fast food, a lot of very unhealthy foods. I had a huge appetite, which I still do now, and it's still kind of a struggle for me. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of thing never really goes away. I've always had, and probably always will have, a massive sweet tooth. I love, chocolate. I love caramel. I love really any kind of sweet. It'd be easy to list off the ones that I don't like, honestly, which is basically just like dark chocolate and maybe a couple other things here and there. I guess it kind of depends on what you or your culture would personally consider to be a sweet, kind of treaty, tasty food. But regardless, as a result of that, I've consistently been pretty overweight my entire life. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been pretty hefty, and that carried into adulthood. In a lot of ways, eating was a stress release for me, which is not a good habit in the slightest. And it's something that happens when you're very upset in your life, something that you... for me, specifically, I should say, I picked it up, just, sense of control, I guess, When you're sad, good food makes you feel better, but you do that every single time, and then next thing you know, you're overweight. You're not really feeling good, and then that makes you more upset, which makes you want to eat more, which makes you more upset, and it's just a vicious, not a great cycle. So one day, I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm kind of tired of being like this. I'm gonna do something about it. There was a breakup involved. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like it wasn't necessarily like I'm gonna get into shape so I can go find someone else and move on. It was kind of more of like I need to feel good about myself. This is something that I can do about it. And specifically, I remember, and I hate to bring this up because it makes me feel like I'm putting someone else down, because there was a different person directly involved in this decision. But I was watching a documentary on the YouTuber Nikocado Avocado, and in the video, at one specific point, it mentioned that he was 270 pounds, And that really struck a chord with me, because at the time I heard that, I was 268. So I was literally 2 pounds under who was considered to be like one of the most like largest heavy-set men on YouTube, and that wasn't really it wasn't really a great feeling, but at the same time, I mean, it did motivate a change, and it motivated a change, which is good. You know, we always want to be improving. So it was actually as soon as the very next day I started playing. I tried a game for the Switch called Ring Fit Adventure, which, if you don't know, is it was kind of like a successor to Wii Fit, but instead of a balance board, you have a large, flexible ring that you use, and you do different workouts with the ring, and it's kind of laid out like an RPG. So as you level up certain workouts, they get stronger. Each workout targets like a different part of your body that you would need. It's a very interesting game. It was kind of a nice way to go about it, but I didn't stick with it all the way through. I didn't even make it to the very end, which for some reason that game had not only a narrative but an overarching story in your fitness adventure video game. But I didn't even get to the ending, because in a lot of ways it often felt like it was trying to be a video game first and a workout second, which, you know, it was a video game, so of course it's going to need to try to be a video game, but it's just, you kind of don't really enjoy you don't really enjoy when you're trying to get into shape, you're trying to accomplish a goal, and the thing that's helping you accomplish that goal seems like it's trying to do something that's not entirely in line with what you personally want. It makes it a little bit difficult to get that done, and I didn't feel very confident. It felt like I was basically just playing a video game, and to top it all off, sometimes the stupid ring wouldn't even read my workouts properly, so I would fail a workout, or it would register I didn't do it properly, so I was doing extra reps. It was just not really that great, and honestly, it was an attempt. It was a first attempt, which is not the worst, but at the same time, you know, you can do a lot better. So I thought, alright, let's try a different approach. So I moved over to Wii Fit, which you're probably thinking, you know, that can't be any better. It's got to be worse because it's an older game. You know, we know a lot more about workouts now than we did back in the Wii Fit days, which is true, and Wii Fit did call me obese, but Wii Fit also calls everyone obese, so don't take it too personally. I had a better experience. I felt like I was losing more weight. Everything felt a lot more consistent, but I still just wasn't quite getting there. There's only so much you can really do with a plastic board and 2 like remotes for your hand, right? So it was great. It was great for what it was, but it just wasn't what I needed specifically. It wasn't the right tool. So the third and final thing that I did was I signed up to go to an actual gym. And initially at first, I didn't sign up for the membership myself. I went with a friend who had their own membership. And this friend had a membership that allowed them to bring a guest, which is actually the same membership I have at the same gym that I'm at now. I'm still going to that same gym all these years later, fun fact. I did have a falling out with this friend, and as a result, we no longer talk, and they no longer come to the gym either. But I did learn a lot of valuable workout tips from them. As a matter of fact, the workout that I follow, like the workout routine that I follow every time I go, was actually given to me by them. They're the ones that typed it out, which is pretty cool. But around the time that I had this fallout with the friend, I stopped going. And because the passion wasn't there. there was a 2-year gap in between. This all happened in like June, July of 2023. I didn't start going back again until May of, the very end of May 2025. Because just the passion wasn't there. I just didn't feel like I was where I wanted to be. But it's okay, because not only have I since started going again, obviously, I'm actually a lot further along now than I was back then, which I think really says a lot about how a setback isn't necessarily a new beginning. Sometimes it just means you have to kind of realign and find out how to make it work for you again. That's all. Which I think is a good lesson, you know. A setback isn't an ending. Sometimes you just gotta pick up and, you know, redo the progress and then go forth beyond that, you know. So, fast forward to May 2025. There wasn't really a specific reason I decided to start going again. I kind of just had a random urge to just start going. I kind of remember thinking to myself a little bit like, you know, I was really happy when I was going, so why did I stop? Why don't I do that again? Make myself happy again. There is also one thing that I did want to mention. My friend Nicole, who you might know from the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom playthrough that I have, if you've been watching that, she made me a custom shirt of my favorite singer, Ava Max. She drew it herself, actually, and she printed it out onto both a shirt and a sweater, and I liked it, but the shirt was a really tight fit, and the sweater didn't fit at all. Like, I couldn't even wear it without risking ruining it. So she was bummed out about that, and I think subconsciously that may have been a factor to start going. She mentions that I outright said that I was going to start going again because of it, and I don't remember if that's true, but I mean, it must have been. I just don't really remember saying it, and I guess I did start going again as a indirect result of that shirt. I actually wear that shirt as my progress shirt, which, for those of you who don't know, progress shirt, or I guess really any kind of piece of clothing, is something that you wear when you first... Oh shit! I thought that was a bouncy. A progress shirt is something that you wear when you're first starting out. Or I guess it doesn't have to be a shirt. It can be any kind of clothing that you really want to fit into. But usually you go with a shirt because it's like an upper body thing. You can see like the most of your like body weight that you lose through it that way. But I was wearing it when I first started. There's a picture of me when I very first started it, and then every 10 pounds I it's hard to think about like counting in pounds while I'm bouncing on these. Oh my god. Perfect. There we go. Thank you, Tana. Every 10 pounds I take a picture, updated it, and between May 25th and the day I'm recording this, or the month I'm recording this, January of 2026, I've lost about 60 pounds, which, you know, I'm very impressed with personally. It's been a long road to get here. There's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of trying things out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, all that fun stuff. So the specifics for the routine. I'm going to go over a little bit about what I do specifically during my workouts, but before I do that, I do want to just quickly clarify that I am not a dietitian, nor am I a workout expert, so I'm kind of someone who just is winging it as I go. I have an idea of what I need to be doing. I have a vague recollection of some stuff that the friend I was mentioning before taught me. Not Nicole, the one I went to the gym with. And so some of my methods might be considered a bit unhealthy. I don't endorse or encourage unhealthy body weight loss, but what I do works for me. I did not speak to a dietitian or a physician or any kind of like workout expert before I started, which I strongly recommend that you do, especially if you have any other kind of health conditions that may get in the way. The friend that sort of set me up with everything had a very similar body type and health situation that I did, so I didn't really feel the need to shit. You should shit. That's very important. Excuse me, I laughed too hard at that. I didn't feel the need to go, but you should definitely go. If nothing else, just to make sure that you're doing everything as right as you can. So that's sort of the main thing. Another thing to be careful of is try to speak with an actual person, like an actual physician, an actual dietitian. A lot of misinformation exists online, and I'm not just talking about like Google AI summaries. I mean, like, there are people, like, there are dedicated like health or workout websites that just have blatantly incorrect information on them, or they'll have something that might work for a body type but not necessarily for your body, because everyone's body is different. What works for one person might not work for another person. It's all just knowing what's going to work for you, what doesn't. Don't forget that everyone's body is different. Everyone gains and loses weight the same way. What might be a struggle for you might be easy for someone else, and vice versa. So just make sure that if you're going to follow anything that I say moving forward, make sure that you're going about it as healthy as you can. If something doesn't seem right, or you feel like you're not, you don't feel very healthy doing it, just stop. Don't push yourself any further. So, basically, the main thing that I do when I'm losing weight is I do what's called a calorie deficit, which essentially just means that you have to eat less calories than you're burning in a day. The motto that I used to remember is eat less, exercise more, which, to kind of bring everything full circle, I couldn't remember where I'd heard that quote, but it turns out it was actually from a Crash game, which is kind of funny. I think it was a Nitro Kart quote. Oh, bye. It was a Nitro Kart quote, supposedly, which is pretty funny. That's just sort of how I remember to go about it. Anyways, another thing that is important is if you're going to do a calorie deficit, if you're not going to eat a lot in a day, you have to make sure that when you are eating, you're getting the proper nutrients. Human body needs specific things in order to function, and if you don't get those things, can at best make you sick or a little woozy. At worst, might give you some kind of like deficiency or other kind of bad icky thing that we don't want. So just make sure you're getting all your proper nutrients. For me, I make sure that everything that I eat has the right nutrients. My daily meals at the time of recording are I have a tuna wrap for breakfast, because the tuna gives me it gives me a specific nutrient. I don't remember what it is, and I have it on my phone, and I cannot check what it is right now as I am currently playing the video game, but I'm sure I'll put it up on screen. And then I also make sure that I take some vitamin C supplements. You don't, depending on where you live, you might not need too much in way of vitamin C, vitamin D is the one that the sun gives you, I believe. See, I'm not a dietitian, I don't know this stuff. I'm just trying to remember. But, oops, I tried to jump over, it didn't work. I'm just trying to remember as I go. But, and then, I eat chicken, because chicken is a great source of iron. You combine that with broccoli in a stir fry, which broccoli also gives you a lot of, just a whole bunch of different nutrients all in one. A lot of stuff that your body needs, which is really good. You put that in a stir fry, you cook up the chicken there, and then, I forgot to mention the reason that I put the tuna in a wrap is because there are carbs that you need in bread, and wraps have carbs, but not a lot of them, so you don't have to worry about I don't have to worry, I should say, about gaining any sort of unneeded like carb advantage from that. Carb advantage. See, this is how. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to my advice. Look this stuff up. Be careful where you look it up, but look it up, because I don't know what I'm talking about. I am but a fool. Anyway, another thing that I do that is very, I don't want to say controversial, but not everyone necessarily agrees is important, is I have cheat days. Because I am a firm believer that if you cut all of these delicious but unhealthy foods out of your life entirely, it will make it harder for you to stick to your diet. You will want to relapse, and when you relapse, you can not only gain back all the weight you lose on your journey, you might even gain back even more. So we don't want to do that. We want to keep these pounds off, and we want them to stay off, because that is what progress is all about. Another quick piece of advice. Like I said, I'm recording this in January, so there is a good chance that someone out there had getting into shape or going to the gym as their New Year's resolution. And I just want to say, in my opinion, that is not a good idea. Don't do it in the winter, and don't do it as your resolution. And the reasoning for that is because that's a very common resolution, so a lot of people do it. So you're going to go to the gym, you're going to see a lot of people there, you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to see that all the machines you want to use are either in use or there's a huge line, you're going to get discouraged, you're going to fall off the platform, you're going to die, your shoes are going to fly in the air, and you have to start over from where you began. You're also going to get discouraged because you can't use the machines or equipment or do the workouts that you want to do, and that's also not fun. So, my advice, if you want to start going, I would recommend starting in either the spring or the summer. And the reason for that is because when the weather is warm, you're going to want to go out. You're not going to want to stay inside when it's cold like it is in the start of the year. At least it is if you're in the same hemisphere as me. I'm in Canada, so it's cold all the time. But we have a couple months that aren't that bad. So that's when you should go. You should go during the okay months, is where I'm getting at with this. The workouts that I do, the routine, is each day is separated into a different body part, and there's a little bit of overlap in between them, but the main categories that I have are, I have full body workouts, arm days, leg days, a chest and shoulder day, and a back and ab day. It's important to separate them because you don't want to work the same muscles all the time, because then they're just going to deteriorate. You got to give your muscles, you got to relax, you got to give them some time to come back bigger and stronger than ever. That is something I see a lot of disagreements on, so maybe I'm wrong, but it just kind of reiterates my point of don't just blindly listen to me, don't just do what I do. Make sure that you are doing your own research, make sure you're speaking with people who know this stuff way better than some schmuck on YouTube who plays Crash Bandicoot. But I will say one very important thing that everyone should be doing is cardio. Cardio is important because, actually I do want to do toxic waste. Cardio is important because that is allegedly what primarily burns your belly fat, which most people who are trying to get in shape have that problem. I've also seen conflicting reports on this, that you can't necessarily target specific areas. And my response to that is I have no idea. You just all the workouts you're doing, do some cardio to warm up, walk on the treadmill, end it off with some intense like Stairmasters or the exercise bike thing or whatever, because another great piece of advice that I got is if you're sweating, then you're burning calories. So you want to be super gross and sweaty at the end of it, but you also don't want to be so gross and sweaty that you hurt yourself, because that's something that a lot of people do, is they go really hard on the first day, and then they get really sore, and then they don't want to go back, or sometimes they even can't go back, and then you're right back where you started. You're not making any progress, which is not good. So you want to make sure that you do want to push to an extent, but also the most important advice I can give in this context at least, and I'm sure I've said that like 3 times already, but you want to listen to your body. You kind of want to push to a point where it feels like you're about to give up, but you don't actually give up. You can take little rests in between. Okay. You can take little rests in between reps if you need them. You know, there's nothing wrong with kind of needing to take a little bit of a breather in between. You know, as long as you finish the set, that's the main thing. Whoa! Of course, also do keep in mind that I'm talking in the context of losing weight, not necessarily building muscle. There's going to be some overlap, but again, like I've said before, and I will continue to say again, make sure that you are looking into the right areas for what you want to do. I'm describing what I do, and what I do is not necessarily going to work for everyone, so I cannot stress that enough. Keep that in mind, and you'll be fine. Now, I survived, oh my god. Essentially, another great thing, like, it's just, you know, cardio. You want to make sure that you're doing good. Personally, I get my cardio in. I walk everywhere, and that works for me. You know, I like that. But it's not necessarily going to work for everyone out there, and that's okay. That's fine. It doesn't have to work for everyone. But cardio, make sure that you're doing it, because it's important. If you can walk, do it. You want to do cardio before you start, and you want to do it after you're done, because that's just, it's like a little cap off. Why am I doing a time trial? I don't know. No, I'm not. Great. And another thing that I do at the end of a workout, and this might not be possible for everyone that's out there, just depending on your gym, your membership, what you do, I like to get a nice little massage, because massages are great for calming your muscles down. They're good for you know, feeling good at the end of the day, making you feel nice and loose, nice and flowy, like there's less bad stuff going on. But it's not always possible. Not every gym has it. I like to use the hydro bed, but sometimes all you have is a massage chair. That's fine. You might not have any of that stuff, and that's the case. Just do some stretches. You know, if you're affluent, maybe you can go for a massage. But most of us just might need something else. Might have to just do some good stretches. You can find some great stretches online that target the areas that you want to find. I know I said be careful about what you find online, but I mean, like, yeah, there's a little bit of common sense at play. Like, if a stretch is telling you to, like, I don't know, put your legs behind your head and you know you can't do that, don't follow that one. But like, if a stretch is like, you know, this is good for your lower back and that's where you're feeling a lot of your tension, give it a shot. Comments are good too. You can kind of see. And then, of course, above all else, as I've said 100 times in a row, make sure you are talking to a proper dietitian. Emphasis on die, because I just died. And if relaxing, and the exact opposite of relaxing, let's talk about the express workout. Let's talk about stress, like the stress I get when I die in Crash Bandicoot. Let's talk about stress. Another great workout is it's what's called an express workout. Now, this might just be exclusive to the gym that I go to, but an express workout is essentially it's a couple of machines, and you do them as quick as you can. So the whole thing takes maybe about a half hour. You start on a machine and you run through the gauntlet, and you might have death like I do. You might have sometimes they'll like have you do like other things in between, like you can step on and off the ladder or the stool, you can step on and off, or do some stretches, do some lunges, or just sit down and relax, do some like leg stretches or stretch out whatever part is feeling the tension the most. It's usually marked express workout. If you do it on the regular machines, you might get in the way of someone's rep, and you want to make sure you're wiping stuff down too. So just, you know, just don't forget your important. Don't forget the important stuff. Don't forget your gym etiquette. You know, you want to be there because you want to be good. You don't want to be the gym bro who's grunting and screeching and making things worse for everyone that's there. You want to be a cool dude. You want to be nice, or you want to be a nice dudette. You want to be cool. You want to be an epic person. You want to be someone who's not making a mess of things. You want to be someone who's making the best of things. That was deep. It was a great line. That was a bar. I just spat. If you're like me, you'll find that after it, you feel better. You feel a lot more confident in yourself and your abilities. There's a lot of stress release that comes from a nice, good workout. Me personally, I like to compare it to the scene in Spider-Man 1, where he wakes up and he like has all these powers that he didn't know about before, and he's like, "Oh, look at this cool thing that I can do! Look at all these webs I can shoot." He doesn't say that, but ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, you'll notice it. You'll look better. You'll feel better. People will tell you that you look better. But you don't even need them to tell you that you look better, because you'll already know, because you can feel better. You'll feel the difference, and that's the main thing. That's what's so good. That's what we want, and that's what we're aiming for. And I guess if I have some closing words, all I really want to say is I just want to encourage anyone who's out there to just do whatever makes you feel better. Even if what makes you feel better is not the gym. Maybe there's a goal that you want to achieve. Maybe there's something you feel stopping you from being happy. The best thing you can do is just make a plan for it. If you're able, find a way to make yourself feel good. Find a way to just work towards that goal. Get what you want. Make sure that you're taking up these healthy habits. We're gonna skip that. Make sure that you're finding the right habits for everything that you're trying to do. Make sure that you're doing the best you can, and that's all that matters. You don't want to be like Papu here. You don't want to be laying around doing nothing with your life, watching it go by. You gotta be a thinker. You gotta make things happen. You gotta jump up and down like Ripperoo. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But anyway, that's my little spiel about self-betterment, I guess it's kind of turned into. Thanks everyone who stayed to the end, who watched, who listened to me go on and on about something that I definitely am not qualified to speak on. Next time around, we're going to talk about some stuff that I'm hopefully a little bit more qualified to speak on. But thanks again to Noel from the Not Ripped His Father channel for suggesting this. Thanks to everyone who watched and listened, and I hope everyone has a great day.